Jake walks into my office. Successful business leader, but he's been taking metformin twice a day for his type 2 diabetes, and over the last 2 years, his doctors told him, this is now your reality. But when I scan him with this device, something unexpected shows up. Not in his pancreas, not in his blood sugar systems, but his prostate gland. The energy readings are completely off the charts. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, so I'm not allowed to diagnose, but I am allowed to analyze. So I told him to get his prostate checked by his GP. He did that with 2 different doctors, and they confirmed my suspicion he had a swollen prostate. So we devised a plan to improve his prostate health naturally. 2 months later, Jake's HbA1c level improved dramatically. His doctor was baffled. How is it that you've come off metformin to just 1 a day? Here's the thing, I never treated his diabetes. I never even focused on the blood sugar level at this stage. So how did this happen? Now if you're watching this and thinking, energy medicine sounds interesting, but what the heck has it got to do with my personal life, my social life, and very importantly, my leadership? Let me be direct with you. You know that feeling when you're constantly exhausted even after a full night's sleep? When you're making good decisions, but somehow it feels like you're swimming upstream. When your mind is sharp, but your body is feeling like it's betraying you. That's not just stress. That's not just getting older. That's energy leaking out of your system in ways you never learned to recognize. And they most certainly didn't teach that at school. Most leaders I work with, brilliant, driven people, are unknowingly hemorrhaging life force through patterns they can't even see. And it's costing them their health, their clarity, and their ability to show up as the leader they know they could be. This isn't mystical thinking. This is practical intelligence to anyone who refuses to accept that burnout, chronic fatigue, or declining health are just part of the deal when you're trying to build something meaningful. My name is Haroon Rabbani, and this is the Haroon Rabbani podcast. Let me take you back to 2007. I became obsessed with one question. What's the synergy between science and consciousness, or science and spirituality? What can we actually change within that impacts our external reality? In fact, to such an extent, we can help change the world. I started with a simple premise. Everything is energy. Whether you're talking about living things or non-living things, it all comes down to the interaction and the flow of energy. So I began interviewing the pioneers, physicists, quantum physicists, epigenetic researchers. In the early days, I was connecting and interviewing people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Dean Radin, Professor Konstantin Korotkov, and many others who are pushing the boundaries of what we thought were possible. Fast forward to 2020, I decided to invest in this extraordinary piece of equipment called the BioWell device. And what I discovered was mind-blowing. This isn't just an analytical tool. It measures the energetic levels of individuals with precision I'd never seen before. But what's particularly fascinating is how it reveals the connection between organs, glands, and human systems that traditional medicine misses out. This technology is rooted in principles that Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine have understood for thousands of years, that each organ correlates with specific emotions and conditions. Your body isn't a collection of separate parts working in their individual silos. It's an interconnected energy system, a universe that is you. Which brings me to why I'm creating this series. Over the next several videos, we're going to explore the profound connection between mind, body, and spirit, and how this impacts you on your leadership journey. Because whether you're running a company, building a career, or simply trying to optimize your life, understanding energy is the foundation of everything. Today, let's begin with the most fundamental piece, understanding energy itself and how your dominating emotions are either fueling your success or quietly sabotaging everything you're trying to build. Remember Jake that I mentioned early on? When we addressed the energetic imbalance in his prostate, we freed up energy that his body could then redirect to healing his pancreatic function. We never treated his diabetes directly. We simply restored the natural flow of energy through his system. Let me show you exactly where that energy gets blocked and how to start shifting it. Think of your body as having 7 energy centers, each one governing aspects of how you show up in the world and how you lead others. When these centers are flowing freely, you operate from higher levels of consciousness. When they're blocked or imbalanced, you get trapped in predictable patterns of low vibrational emotions that sabotage everything you're trying to build. The root chakra is your foundation of security. This is your survival center, your sense of safety and belonging in the world. When it's out of balance, you're operating from shame, fear, or guilt, the lowest levels of consciousness in Dr. David Hawkins' map of consciousness. As a leader, you make decisions from scarcity. You hoard information. You're constantly worried about not having enough resources or support. Your team feels your anxiety and becomes defensive, territorial, focus on protection rather than growth. Does this sound familiar in any aspect of your career? But when this center is clear, you lead from courage and trust. You make abundant decisions. Your people feel safe to take risks. The sacral chakra is your creative power center. This governs your creativity, passion, and personal magnetism. When blocked, you're stuck in desire, craving, or apathy, either desperately grasping for outcomes or completely disconnected from what excites you. In leadership, you're either micromanaging every detail or completely hands-off because you've lost touch with your vision. Your team never knows which version of you that they're getting. When balanced, you lead with authentic enthusiasm. Your genuine excitement for possibilities becomes contagious, and people want to be part of what you're creating. The solar plexus chakra is connected to your will and your personal power. This is your center of transformation and personal will. When imbalanced, you're trapped in anger, pride, or the constant need to prove yourself, always pushing, always fighting, always trying to force your way through resistance. You become a tyrant to yourself and others, setting impossible standards and creating cultures of perfectionism and burnout. When clear, you lead from willingness and emotional neutrality. You can make tough decisions without ego driving the process. Your team trust your judgment because they feel your stability. The heart chakra is your center of conscious connection with others. This is where leadership transforms from management to genuine inspiration. When closed or overwhelmed, you're either completely disconnected from deeper purpose or so caught up in trying to please everyone that you lose sight of what actually matters. You create either cold transactional relationships or chaotic, overly emotional environments. When open and balanced, you lead from love and understanding. Not soft, passive love, by the way, but the fierce, protective love that creates conditions for others to thrive. People follow you because they genuinely want to be part of your vision. The throat chakra is your authentic voice. This governs communication and your authentic expression. When blocked, you're either saying what you think people want to hear or completely unable to communicate vision with clarity. Your team stays confused about direction because there's incongruence between your words and your deeper truth. When clear, your communication carries weight because it's aligned with your authentic knowing. People trust you because they can feel your integrity in every conversation. The third eye is your intuitive wisdom. This is your center of insight and higher knowing. When clouded, you're either chasing fantasies, disconnected from reality, or so caught up in practical thinking that you miss the bigger patterns. Your team either doesn't trust your judgment or feels uninspired because you've lost touch with the larger purpose. When clear, you see what others miss. You make decisions that seem counterintuitive but consistently prove right. People follow you because they trust your ability to navigate complexity with wisdom. And the final one is your crown chakra, which is your connection to higher purpose. This connects you to pure consciousness and universal intelligence. When disconnected, you're either living a completely meaningless existence or so focused on transcendent concepts that you can't handle practical leadership demands. When aligned, you lead from pure service, connected to something larger than yourself, while remaining completely present for the work at hand. Your team feels they're part of something meaningful that connects to their own highest potential. Here's what's beautiful about understanding this system. These patterns aren't fixed. They're not your destiny. They're simply your current energetic habits, and habits can be changed. Over the next several videos, we're going to explore how to identify exactly where your energy is getting stuck how to clear these blocks, and most importantly, how to consciously choose which level of consciousness you're leading from in any given moment. Because conscious leadership isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. It's about recognizing that you have choice in every moment about which version of you bring to your leadership. And that brings me to something I'm incredibly excited about. I want to take 10 business leaders from right here in Birmingham and the West Midlands and Leicester, people who are experiencing burnout or feel like they're on the dangerous path, and give them the full BioWell experience. So you got to have a team of people that you work with. You'll get 2 sessions each, one to reveal exactly which chakras are blocked and how that's showing up in your leadership, and one follow-up to track the progress after we implemented targeted interventions. And I want to document this entire journey for you. This isn't about selling you anything, by the way. It's about proving that what I'm sharing with you today actually works in the real world with real people under pressure. If you're a business leader in Birmingham or Leicester and you recognize yourself in what we've discussed today, that constant fatigue, the decision-making fog, the feeling that you're leading from a place that isn't truly you, then I want to hear from you. Send me a message with Energy Leader and tell me briefly about your situation. Best place to find me is on LinkedIn. I'll select 10 participants, no matter how many people apply, based on who I think will benefit most. And we'll document this transformation together. Because here's what I know after years of working with leaders at every level. Your external results are always a reflection of internal energy. Change the energy, change the leadership. Change the leadership and you change everything. The question isn't whether you're a good leader or a struggling leader. The question is, which level of consciousness are you choosing to lead from today? And more importantly, are you ready to dive deep and create your own transformation? My name is Haroon Rabbani, and you've been watching or listening or both to the Haroon Rabbani podcast. I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.